The Mischief Manifesto, written by Wario. 1. Whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my own life, or whether that station will be held by anybody else, I do not care. Whether or not I'm gonna win, these pages must show. To begin my life with the beginning of my life, we begin at my life's beginning. I record that I was born, as I have decided and shall insist, on a work day in the middle of a double shift just before lunch and peak traffic. It was remarked that the clock began to strike and I began to fart simultaneously. The bystanding plumber that delivered me also claims I somehow stole his watch. This event marked both my very first acts of mischief as well as the first very severe beating I received from my mother. I choose to consider the immediately subsequent occurrence of my first erection to be totally unrelated. My father was not present at the time, as he was busy fulfilling his obligation to completely abandon our family and never return, a key source of pride and determination for me that has always remained even in my darkest moments. Without his commitment to this, I easily could have fallen prey to the indignities of communal responsibility, or perhaps even some form of legitimate taxable income. The fact that I have the fortune to not even need to imagine this, I happily attribute to him, but reserve the right to deny any actual repayment to him as a matter not of principle, but sheer amusement, for of the former I have absolutely none to speak of. Chapter 2. My Principles. As God ordained his commandments, so shall I, Wario, declare the following without any immediate reasoning or actual conclusive evidence that I even suggested it. 1. Kill people who criticize or slight you, but never if it is inconvenient or if it would not leave you satisfied. Murder is never more important than your happiness. 2. Money can buy you anything, but anything you can't buy is priceless. 3. Steal anything that seems priceless, even if you know that it isn't. You cannot afford to have any less than the utmost disposable surplus of resources achievable, and must never allow the notion that you are worthy of even the most basic trust bestowable to form. 4. Constantly lie and assert outright falsehoods, especially blatant ones, even in the case that it would cost you dearly or not benefit you in the slightest. It is your uninfringible right to do so, also being an inexhaustible wellspring of personal entertainment or excuses for yourself and anyone who decides to believe you. However, you may conversely cease lying about anything whatsoever once you are in a position of absolute inscrutable power, if you so desire the added amusement that is, as well as causing those who doubt you to question their own judgment. 5. If anyone ever threatens you, impedes you, irritates you, or is requesting information you simply don't wish to disclose, feign their sudden disappearance by ceasing eye contact and seeming incredulous. Begin to call for them while looking wildly about, followed by shrugging to yourself and wandering off without any further acknowledgement of them or their verbal responses. If they physically touch you as a measure to recapture your attention, ideally having baited them into doing so, immediately and decisively assault or disable them with the harshest means available, then proceed to allege you were maliciously ambushed and forced into self-defense. 6. Never cry, show fear, uncertainty, contemplation, or even agreement in the face of your equals or subordinates. These can always be replaced by snide laughter, loud and or foul flatulence, or the ever flabbergasting act of spontaneously defecating. However, you may of course do whatever is necessary when attempting to impress, usurp, or convey fake weakness to someone with an advantage over you. 7. A keen sense of morality and ethics is the keystone factor in any legitimate impactful venture. This is the exact principle that assures all great men cement themselves in history as failures. For they could have been even greater if they only realized that never learning these things to begin with saves you a lifetime of overthinking and the wasteful consideration of what consequences you may create. It is far more effective to only seek illegitimate, selfish ventures and simply posture that you have a deep understanding and everyone that disagrees has none. All rules are literally made up. Do not be so easily fooled. If you do not cheat others, you are cheating yourself. This cannot be countered or disproven, and any attempt of that only demonstrates your ignorance to the better informed such as myself. 8. Always follow the 8th principle before following the others, or risk invalidating them and rightfully earning the wrathful contempt of those who succeeded in following it. To you I offer these guidelines to success as a reward to those who would put their trust in me and of course lend me their attention, as well as the minimum $12,000 down payment on the license to hear this first volume if you could not afford to rent the physical hardcover book version. In conclusion to this section, I leave you now with some valuable advice. You must now purchase the second volume that features a critical recontextualizing of everything I've said here so far, or you remain in danger of the very deadly misinterpretation of it. It is not worth it to bet your livelihood and perhaps the assets or family tied to your billing address to think you have a less than certain chance to fumble the information herein. Let this be your last warning. I always wish others a rotten day, but wishes only come true if there is a reason to pursue them.
You're listening to a Bob-omb Books production. Bob-omb Books. Bombing children everywhere. With knowledge.